Yo, what's up? It's your boy Iyanla, and you are checking out the first edition of The Sit on Icon City News. Woo, 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 woo. Sound effects to follow. Okay, so I'm here with my lovely co-host. Okay, first we're gonna give a shout out to Vinny, First Lady of Icon City.
Hi, how are you guys doing? This is Vinny. You guys can follow me at Vinny Baby. This is Cornell.
Hey.
He is a actor. He is also an entrepreneur, and he is currently writing a book. You can find him doing a reality TV show right now on OWN. What is it called?
Iyanla Fix My Life. And part 2 of our episode airs this Saturday, 9/8 Central. So please tune in for the conclusion.
To cry, because
it's gonna be intense.
In your favorite city, getting big money Saturday, Sunday, even though it's Monday, fuck with me every day, be a Monday. Now I ain't gotta sell it 'cause you already see it. The way you want it, I can tell that you need it, boy. It's on you tonight.
First edition of The Sit, okay? On The Sit, we bring you the latest in inclusive urban culture. What does that mean, inclusive urban culture? Well, it means that, we believe that hip-hop and the culture around it is for everybody, regardless of, what you look like, who you love, what's in your pocket, blah, 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 etc. Okay? So, Lil Nas came out, and though it was, good for him. Well, a couple people have been saying a couple different things about it, actually. So, okay, so because he was so popular and everything, I guess a lot of people feel like they were bamboozled, or the wool was pulled over their head or whatever. And then I've heard from some people who have been working really long in the in arts in different ways or whatever, feeling it's always the people who wait until they got where they're going.
I was gonna say that because on one hand, first of all, we have right now the #1 single is by an openly black gay man. So
right.
Let's clap.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
But playing devil's advocate, what you were just saying, there have been artists that have been out there doing it that came out the jump. Hey, this is me. And spitting bars and music is dope. Not all of it, but some of it.
Every now and again.
Every now and again. But because they already came out with their truth early on, people already put them in this box.
Right.
People already had this stigma on it.
Right.
So it's you gotta look at it from both sides. I love the fact that Lil Nas X came out, because when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, does that really mean? And then I went to go listen to the 7-track closure.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, well maybe he might be. I could see that. You know what I'm saying? And I applaud that for sure, because it takes a lot of bravery, because even still, while that #1 is charting, that shit could have just went down. But on the flip side, it just kept going up, which I thought was great.
What do you think, Penny?
I think that, I didn't read the comments. The only thing that I saw was him, lashing out to all the people that were, being homophobic, and I didn't even want to read the negativity, to be honest, because it's just disturbing. 2019, why are we still worried about other people's sexuality? That is ridiculous.
And the fact that he's 20 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
He's 20? Wow.
Right, he's 20 years
That's
old.
a lot of grown people.
Yeah. Exactly. And they don't even understand what kind of pressure that puts on somebody. You're talking about somebody's being, you know what I'm saying? How can you do that to somebody? And a child at that, he's 20 years old, and all he wants to do is music. You're going to judge him for his sexuality.
They've been judging him off rip with the type of music he was doing first.
Honestly.
Now that kind of seems like it's kind of swept under the rug, because now the whole sexuality.
Yeah, because he was a revolutionary artist already before that, and then it just, became a thing. I guess I would still like to see someone be themselves from the beginning, and have that kind of be nurtured, and have that kind of be nurtured, so kind of on that note, when I noticed on the first episode of Iyanla Fix My Life that you know, there was, you know, as an actor, as someone, you know, that's been, you know, involved in the community, you know, has a track record. There was no mention of that. Do you know why that was?
I mean, when they asked me like what I was doing and everything, I of course, you know, I'm trying to plug away, so I told them everything that I was doing, but the power of editing, you know, none of that saw the light, you know what I'm saying? I've been in the industry since I started off in 2012, and I kind of just fell into it. Like, I've always did music with my brothers, and that was kind of our, like, little safe haven. That was our thing. And then I was approached by, you know, individuals at the time, and they said, we got this idea in mind, and they pitched it to me, and I didn't think much of it, because I was like, I've only done a few theater stuff and stuff like that, and I didn't really know how I was going to look on camera, and we started doing some test shots, and I was like, oh, half bad. So, you know, and it started getting in my mind to take it serious. To the fact that I can like go into a room and convince everybody I'm somebody I'm not. So I started taking classes and started really diving into it, and I've been, you know, acting since then.
And so what was that that was Mommaz Boy? That was Mommaz Boy. Okay. Yeah. So for you guys that do not know, Mommaz Boy was a popular series filmed in Atlanta that depicted the lives of black gay men in the area. It was happening at a time before it was actually ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
I say that all the time, but when I say it, I feel like it comes off kind of like,
you know, somebody else has to say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because like at the time there was only like 3-4 of us that was like for like black gay. At the time it was like No Shade and Free Fall and then it was us. It was beyond, you know, with the lesbians, because the lesbians, they had a whole bunch. And their views were through the charts because, you know, they support.
Right. Well, and not just that they support, but like, you know, there is that double standard, you know, where it's like, it's, you know, in someone's mind, it's like hot. Two girls is hot. Two guys is not. You know, I mean, have you experienced it? Like,
of course, yeah. Especially when you tell a guy you're bisexual, they automatically go for, oh, she must want to have threesomes. Like,
so I can definitely kind of feel you on that, because the moment I tell somebody I'm a twin, their mind just starts going to crazy, stupid places.
What do they
don't need, you know, the whole twin fetish thing is like fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't want to be having no type of sexual nothing and any of my siblings in the room.
Right.
So, you know, oh wait, you got a twin? Is he gay? And I'm like, let me just stop right there.
Oh my lord.
He's straight.
And even if he were,
so all the motherfucking guys that DM, I can fall back. I don't fuck around.
That is called incest.
Everything.
Everything. Like, you cannot be gay without being like, oh, they just love sex.
Exactly.
They
like,
want to have sex all the time. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, so this wasn't on the list, but have you guys been watching the Are You the One on MTV?
I have not been watching Are You the One? But I love X on the Beach though.
Okay, this one is on X on the Beach. Is everyone?
It's about to start. Like, I think the 16.
Are they all gonna be bisexual? Like,
no, but I heard about Are You the One? I think they're all like pansexual or whatever, or fluid or something.
Yeah,
like that.
all some type of fluid.
Yeah, all some type of fluidity. So I thought that was I'm gonna go check it out though.
It's really good. You should. What's the guy's name? The one that I kept complimenting, the one with all the cute little outfits, the one that's in love with the guy
with the skin, the panties, with the panties. Bassett.
Bassett. It was
I don't know, like Angela.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay, well, yeah, him trying to explain like how he is, you know, and there's no like definition because he dresses how he wants, but he's like masculine and feminine at the same time, but he doesn't want to be, labeled, because he likes women and men, you know, so it's just like he has like a whole different style, and I just love it because I'm like, you know, like that's how I feel.
Okay,
you know,
okay,
like,
but let's be real. Would you? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's dope.
That is dope because
that's what I'm saying, it's hard for me to explain that sometimes
really
because I don't see like certain. I fall in love with people's like just
energy
in their mind. And
I can definitely attest to that as well. Like if you look at all of my exes, not one of them have anything in common. Like I never look like for the superficial, but like I've dated round, big, tall, short, white, black. You know, like it just doesn't matter. I've always went off the soul connection. Different ages, all that, you know, whatever.
I'm gonna be honest that like this perspective is. I've asked a lot of women of varying levels of fluidity, and it's always been met with kind of like skepticism and stuff like that. And I wonder, like, are people are broader in a broader way, or is that, do you think that's changing, or do you find yourself unique in that spirit kind of?
I think it's something that it's like a stigma. Like I think we kind of get brainwashed. Like first of all, men and women only.
Right.
Then it's like, okay, well then if you're gay, then you just guy or girl. That's it.
Right.
Bisexual. Oh my God, you're doing too much now.
Like that's not a real thing. You're making it up.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, and then if you further it, it's like, gay is like a very large spectrum.
Of gay. It's all gay, and should it be all called gay?
Exactly. Like,
I don't know.
I've also gotten into on Netflix was it In the City, about the gay community that's out in San Francisco.
No, In the City.
It's called I think it's called Tales from the City. There we go.
Tales from the City. Okay.
That's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, and it premiered maybe I want to say 3 weeks ago.
Is that the girl from?
Yes, from X-Men, Ellen Page.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah. It's really good.
I started watching it when I was in the Bay 2 weekends for my friend's wedding, and I was just watching it. And I just started watching episode after episode. Oh, this is good. It kind of reminds me of LA Complex a few years ago, but more San Francisco based. Okay. It's all about the gay.
She's a mom.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a mom, and oh my gosh, it's really good. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna check that out. Tales in the City on Netflix.
Yes.
And then music-wise, who has your ear?
The king of R&B, Chris Brown, Indigo. I've been bumping that album nonstop since it came out.
Okay.
You seem like you got offended when I say that. I got to represent for my 89.
Well, you know what? Listen. Okay, here's the thing with the Chris Brown. Okay, so we were talking about this earlier. So I have okay, do you know Tokyo?
I can't really say that I listen to Chris Brown. He's very pop for me.
He is pop. He's a pop artist. Yeah. He is a pop.
He's an R&B artist as well.
I can't say that I really
sometimes.
Listen to.
Sometimes, you can.
He has songs with Justin Bieber though.
Yeah, he has two songs.
He has 2 songs with Justin Bieber. That's definitely a pop artist.
Yeah,
no, come on.
He's pretty pop.
Definitely.
Now. Yeah, he's been pop for
Have you been
time.
listening to his music?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Even though he tries to put little nasty shit in there and stuff, it's still really pop.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I will say he does have a soulful voice. I mean, I will, but I think a lot of that has kind of went away. I think artists embrace it more, in different times, and so it's definitely not the same Chris Brown of when he was singing that Christmas song in that old book. Yeah, it's not the same Chris Brown no more. And furthermore, he's making black women upset on Twitter and everything.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I guess some song on one of his songs, he says something to the effect of I only fuck the black bitches with the good hair. I'll put that up on the screen.
Okay.
And sorry. And so this girl. From Love and Hip Hop, Tokyo, what is it? Vanity. Thank you, Tokyo Vanity. She's went and started dragging him and whatnot, and she said that she knows for a fact that she's had friends that he's kicked out of their club section for being too dark, not the right complexion, and colorism is a thing in Hollywood, so. I mean, and he wasn't really apologetic about it. So a lot of people are, on his neck about it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I just hope he does better.
What can I say about Chris Brown? I don't know the guy, but who can tell him that he does pop, you guys?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I don't want all these pop artists to get all upset. But he's really, he's goofy, man. He's been doing goofy shit for years. He pretends he gets hacked. Come on, man. You have the same misspells that you did when you try to correct
He has a lot going on. He has a lot going on.
He
Drugs
does
are real.
too much. He's goofy.
Drugs are real. Drugs are bad. Children, don't do them unless you have a prescription for them or something.
I wouldn't take anything he does serious because obviously he's goofy right now.
Okay, we'll be right back.
In your favorite city, getting big money Saturday, Sunday, even though it's Monday, fuck with me every day, be a Monday. Now I ain't gotta sell it 'cause you already see it. The way you do it, I can tell that you need it, boy. It's on you tonight, yeah. It's on you.
And we're back. So, Benny, what is the craziest thing that someone's ever asked you?
Oh my gosh, the only crazy thing that makes me go crazy that's asked to me is have my baby. Like, ugh.
Have your baby.
Yes.
Like somebody random just ran up and was like that.
Like, okay, that.
Okay.
They do that. Or, like, when you're being physical with somebody and they tell you that, like.
Oh,
I
like
don't
in
wanna
the
do
midst
that.
of the
Yeah.
love making.
Oh.
Okay.
That's
I don't like
different.
that.
It is
But,
different.
but guys have done that to me too. They have ran up and like, have my baby. Like, no, get the fuck off.
And it's like, I mean, you should have asked me this like maybe 30 minutes ago. Like, I don't know. Like, that's crazy.
No, I've literally stopped the whole session. Like, no, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about?
'cause you like that.
Now I'm like confused. I don't know what's going on
Right.
here. This is not what I signed up for.
No, not like mood kill.
Yes.
Oh my god. Anyways, wow. Okay, so
How about you?
I guess there's somebody that looks like me that does porn, and so I get asked a lot, like you know, and sometimes people are really sure about it. Like they're so sure, like they just know. And then it's like, you know,
my gosh,
like, you know, and I have like really friends and stuff. So
What's
like,
the name of the film?
Hey, just, you know,
Adventures of Bam Bam, baby. Google it. Adventures of Bam Bam. All right. Okay. Bam Bam Bam. No, I don't know. What about you, Cornell?
I was actually gonna just piggyback off that. So when I first started doing Mommaz Boy, we had a few adult entertainers,
Uh-huh.
you know, make cameos on the first season. So there was just one clip of me sitting on the bed like this, and Arquez sitting right there. So that picture went out there, and then I remember like being drunk. I was staying in DC, being drunk, coming out the club, stumbling, I'm with my roommate having a good old time.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait a minute, I know your face. I know your face. And I'm just sitting there waiting, like, you know, what is it? What is it? Oh, that's right, you do porn, right? And I was like,
Oh my god.
so I'm gonna walk away.
Lord.
And then my roommate was like, no, he doesn't.
No.
You know?
How do you
And
take
it's
that?
like, you know, listen, everybody got to hustle. Whatever it is that works for you, works
Definitely.
for you.
Definitely.
That just wasn't gonna work for me. When I first moved to Atlanta, I was offered on so much different, that kind of lifestyle,
Mhm.
and that just, I guess my morals from when I grew up just still kind of stuck with me in those moments, because I really don't like to think about my childhood that much. But when in those sense, it's like too much exposure for me.
And-
like, you know what I'm saying? I'm comfortable in front of a camera, but not in that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and I think like the way that people treat you, even when they feel like they've seen you naked, is like interesting.
Right.
Like there's I think they feel, I don't know, like.
How do you
Like
answer
both.
to that when they tell you?
Well, I
Or
mean,
when they
you know,
ask you?
well, first I wanted to see, you know, like, I mean, because, you know, you never know, somebody, you know, hidden cameras and shit, like, you never know what's, like, you know,
That's true.
going on in the world.
that's a real thing.
And so,
Oh, that had to have been frightening for you. I didn't even think about
Somebody
that. Did you
just
think about
asked
that?
me that the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even think about
yeah,
that.
you know, like, I mean, like, because if you go on, I mean, I'm not going to shout out anybody's website, but, like, I mean, do you see lots of, like, videos of, like,
Yeah.
like, people not really necessarily knowing what's going on or whatever?
Right.
So, I don't know, that was the craziest
Invasion
thing.
of privacy much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know you've probably been asked a lot of crazy questions because you just, you know, did a TV show.
Yes.
Yeah, so, like, did you submit, like, who submitted you guys to the show? Like,
So the story is that my dad was seeing a lady at the time,
Mhm.
and yeah, he was seeing Neil was seeing some lady at the time, and she wrote in I guess he explained like, oh, I want to establish a relationship with my sons, and she wrote in, I guess, on his behalf, because I can't see him sitting there typing at a computer, and they just liked our story and they took it, which I was so surprised that they did, because the Mitchells had their story, and their story was kind of similar to ours, except there was a little bit more siblings involved.
Yeah.
And the only difference was, identical twins. So that's the only thing.
Yeah. So, with like, growing up in like Atlanta, like how like growing up as like, an LGBT person and like Atlanta and stuff, was there like were there any challenges?
Oh, there was hella challenges. Like, so I grew up Jehovah's Witness. I'm not sure if y'all know anything about Jehovah's Witness.
Just that they come knocking
every Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes throughout the week. So I was there, my little suit, knocking.
Oh my God.
And that's all I knew. Me and Twin were born into that religion. So, and I can't knock, my grandmother, who was the pioneer of it, that got us all into it, because at that time in her life, she was searching for something, you know what I mean? And that's what she stumbled on, and she adopted that as her truth. So, and then we all just, we had to do it. So, growing up, of course, that was my everything. I got baptized at a young age. I really thought that was my go-to. But then the year I got baptized, the very next year I lost my virginity by a guy. So that didn't really work out that well.
Wow.
So that's just how things just kept moving. But that was it though. Even that happened. It happened for a few months. Nobody ever knew about it. Kept it on hush. And then me and my aunt got into it. My aunt raised me and my twin since birth. And I was never the troublemaker student. I was the AB student. I was a good kid. And she ended up kicking me out. She kind of forced me to come out that year because she heard something and forced me into saying something. And I did, just for her to use it as ammunition against me a few months later. And my grandmother had just passed, and she was the only one that was really like my protector at the time. So I was just like against the wall with, somebody who, I was 16. I just turned 16. My grandmother had just passed. I just turned 16. Yeah. I came out the day my grandmother passed.
Wow. Wow. And so in many ways, and I imagine it has to be a little bit conflicting, because like, I guess in a lot of ways, that aunt, was able to kind of provide, I'm assuming, more stability.
And that's what it was, like, because we were taken since birth. Like, what I found out also in part one, which I had no idea, my dad was in jail when my mother was giving birth to me and Twin.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. I found it out when everybody else found out.
Okay.
So that was news. And with that being said, of course, twins come always, premature. So we came a month early. We do September 20th came, August 14. Twin came in at 4 pounds, 7 ounces. I came in at 3 pounds 15. And the second twin always gets the less, whatever. Yeah. So Twin was in the ICU for a day. And I was in ICU for 2.5 weeks because I couldn't breathe on my own. So they didn't think I was going to make it.
Okay. So, were you guys with your aunt now? And where have you guys reconciled?
So, basically, my parents, they were in the hospital. They were just nodding off the stairs like, we're not release these kids to them. So, they reached out and my aunt stepped up, which to this day I thank her so much, because back in the 80s, who knows, me and Twin could have got separated.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so,
definitely.
So with that being said, I so thank her from the bottom of my heart for stepping up and taking us in. With that being said, I do remember the first 7-8 years being very pleasant. Monster trucks and shows and Disney on Ice and parks and just inclusive fun. But then she started dating, and then that's when everything switched.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that how she became Jehovah's?
No. We were all.
Okay,
when I was born,
family.
everybody was already actively just doing the whole Jehovah's Witness stuff.
And so,
I'm sorry. The guy that she was dating, he wasn't Jehovah's Witness.
Not at all. And she wasn't supposed to really do that. But my aunt was very like the quiet one in the back that nobody really kind of see it. We were already an unorthodox family. Yeah. So you had my grandmother, who's a fully white woman from England, who was my everything. She was right there. She was the one that would comment and interact with the congregation. My aunt was very quiet. She didn't really interact with anybody like that. And then there were 2 sets of twins that they knew wasn't hers. So we were just the makings of our family was like. And then you look at everybody else's family unit. They got the devoted elder dad. They got the supportive wife. They got the dutiful kids, and everybody's just all holy endowed. We weren't set up for that.
I mean, in all this time, that was about, you know, a long time ago. Have you and your aunt been able to ever reconcile?
I have, in my heart, I felt like that we have a good relationship, because I've tried to, because she had a son also that was like my little everything. So for the sake of him, I wanted to definitely make sure to bridge the communication. But I know that if she has seen the episode already, people don't like to hear truth.
Okay.
And if my aunt sees this, just know that I love you, and I have to still speak my truth at the end of the day, because growing up, that was like the theme of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Suppression. You can't talk about it. You just have to hold it in. Just being a Jehovah's Witness. You can't do this. You can't do that. Can't chill with girls at a young age because it looks worldly. It doesn't look right. Then when I came out to her that year, she banned me from hanging out with guys, so I wasn't allowed to hang out with nobody.
Wow.
I had a very sheltered childhood. All I could do was go to school,
Mm-hmm.
couldn't practice none of the holidays and nothing like that. Come straight home with twin and read the Bible and, you know, go to the Kingdom Hall and stuff like that. I couldn't do anything. So that played a lot with my self-esteem growing up.
Yeah. Is there, you know, so I know there's a lot that hasn't been, you know, like a lot has been edited out or whatever. Is there like something specific that you already have noted is not in there that you wish would have been?
I you know what? Because at first, when I seen the first episode, I called my little brother, and then I called twin, and I said the same thing. And I was like, okay, I still feel some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, your stuff was out. You know, your story was told. Nigel's story was told. My story hasn't been told yet. So, with that being said, like, I remember when they told us why we were chosen. It's because of our individual stories alone had so much like me. And then the fact that we come together with this common hurt, pain, you know, they were like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So, but when I saw that, I was like, well, did y'all just edit me out? Like, you know what I mean? But I was like, you know what?
To come?
Well, we got a second part. So, like I said, I'm learning it when y'all learn it. So,
yeah. But if no one else raises the specter, I'll raise the specter. It feels like gay erasure. And, you know, as someone who's dedicated a lot of time in their life to, you know, doing things that result in more representation and communicating the importance of representation, you know, I really expected a lot more wokeness from Ms. Van Zandt, you know, in that area. And it's me saying it. Yeah. So
because I actually didn't even think about it. Like
so it's me. It's me. You know. But am I tripping?
No, that's why I have so many questions, because I feel like there's so many details that weren't told. Like,
I mean, because it's still so.
How did it feel seeing your dad?
Well, my dad popped up a few years ago, so we've kind of been like mingling and stuff like that. And out of my dad's kids, he has 5 kids. Out of his kids, I felt like I was always the one that would constantly reach out to, you know, let's try to communicate. But as I would feel like we just wouldn't have anything in common, and I felt like he just wasn't present. And, you know, lo and behold, he wasn't, you know, because he had fell back into using again. So, and it was just that weird thing, you know. Every time I come around, I'm just doing this for, like, you know, kicks and giggles, because it's been so long and we have no type of relationship. You know what I'm saying? I still have burning questions in my head and things that I was holding on with him. So, you know, I had to let that go. You know, eventually I did. You know.
And it seems like that was before the show. Like,
and
that you had...
It was that, you know, me and him still had that communication. But like I said, he's from New York. Okay. we're all from up north, East Coast, but he's from New York, so he comes out very braggadocious and very, like, blunt with it. Yeah. And sometimes, like, you know, when you don't know me, you're not going to just speak to me any kind of which way. You know, I don't give a damn if you do have the title, like, daddy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck that means. So it was very much like that. Like, okay, so we're still establishing a relationship. You know, maybe you shouldn't, you know, talk to somebody like that.
Total line now.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't too comfortable now. You know, so it was like that.
My last question about the Iyanla show is this. if it turns out that your father is not your father biologically, will you continue to pursue a relationship?
That's tough because there wasn't a relationship there. So when I first moved to Atlanta, I came around a group of men who came into my life as mentors, and it just didn't work out for the most part with one in particular. It got really ugly for me, from my spiritual health. And I was realizing at the time, after like the third go around, we're just trying to just establish a relationship. I was like, why am I reaching for a father? Like, why am I doing that? Like, I'm too grown now. Like, what is the real issue? Mm-hmm. So, it was just me always searching for just that one little thing that I never had. But it started just manifesting its way into like different toxic relationships that just wasn't going to work out for me. So, yeah, when my dad came back into my life, and this time I feel like you're being serious, then now you got my attention. And you know what I'm saying? So I was like, if that's how you gonna take it. If you're gonna be my dad, because that's all I've ever known. But now when me hearing this shit that you said it like that, like, oh, you didn't think that we were your kids, I was like, at first I was like, I thought that was like hood gossip. You know what I mean? Like, oh, them little babies, they don't really look like, I thought it was like that. But my whole family on my dad's side, felt that way. Like, it's just, all I've ever known you when I look at your face is call you dad. So now I'm not gonna like not call you that. Like, it's
why wait till now?
It was too much. I was just like, you said it before, I didn't take you serious, but now like, are you serious? Like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like, that would shake everything all up. Even though you still haven't even been there. It was like just a little box of an idea that I thought of you. That little outliner of the box that doesn't exist. So it's like nothingness. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. That's a crazy place to try to build from.
Well, we will be back with some brighter things. We're gonna talk about what you've been up to lately and what has brought you out to LA.
In your favorite city, getting big money, Saturday, Sunday, even though it's Monday, fuck with me every day, be a Monday. Now I ain't gotta sell it 'cause you already see it. The way you look, I can tell that you need it, boy. It's on you tonight, it's on you.
So we're back. Thank you so. Okay.
Beat the blunt.
Of course. Ain't no blunt gonna get me down, huh? Hey, so, and we're back. Thank you so much, Cornell, for coming and shedding some light and not allowing yourself to be erased. Okay. Yes. So, what next? Did Iyanla fix your life?
I would say out of the experience, I got some genuine healing. One thing that I have to remind my brothers is that the healing process is continuous and you have to keep putting effort into it. We can't just go to one place and it's like, we still have to keep putting the work in, and that's what they taught us. They're like, after this, you have to still keep, putting in the work in and trusting the process while you're doing it. That was your thing, trust the process. So, I just keep encouraging them to just, keep doing it. I'm saying? Keep reaching out, just keep, when I think about my brothers, I put them on the most high. So just do that, keep doing that,
Okay, well, I better not see y'all back on that. No. Okay. No, actually, the whole family. Well, if you guys do go back,
reunion.
The whole and bring everybody, because I think everybody. Because when you were talking about in the last segment about the filling that box or whatever, like I get that. Whether you want to have children going forward or not or whatever, you want to be able to kind of give them some kind of sense of. Whatever. So family is important, but at the same time, we don't want people to, walk all over us. Mm-hmm. So.
No, not you.
What?
Can we get a plug for your?
Oh no, I wasn't.
Oh no, just go. I'll go. What? Just go. You're stalling.
I'm not stalling. Okay. All right. So, what's next?
So what's going on right now is we're gearing up for the big Cash Magnet fashion show in Atlanta this September. So the flyers are going to be out soon. We're still working out the little finalizing the kinks and stuff like that. So I got that going on. Definitely everybody make sure you tune in to this Saturday at 8 Central for the conclusion of our story. And you're going to get all your answers that you've been asking me about. So we got that going on, and I'm finishing my book. I've been working on this book for a long time.
Okay.
I've been working on this book for a long time, and I'm more than into it and more than halfway into it. I just gotta finish it. So that's what I'm still working on right now.
And where can people?
Yes.
So what does the book entail?
So the book is my life. It's I started it when I was 16, when I just moved to Atlanta, and ever since then I've always just added into it. So I started keeping like a track of like a journal. And the working title was called Unleash the Inner Me, which I got it in my army ring. It's tatted on my chest right here. It's just been always a running thing.
How old were you when you started the journal?
I started writing when I was 11, but I started really formatting it like this when I was 16. So ever since then, I've just always just kept adding to it, and I was like, okay, I need to maturely finish it. I need to do it. So, but it's got everything that wasn't said and all the gritty details and the dirt and all the. It's like, damn. I'll be like, I feel for this kid. I'm like, oh yeah, that was me. So you know, say I'm a hell of a writer, by the way, too. So I can't wait to finish it because it's like I said, it's been a big passion project of mine for years, and I just haven't been able to finish it. But I really need to do it. Yeah.
So when do you think it'll be released by?
I'm giving myself the deadline for to finish it by the end of this year. That's my personal deadline. I need to finish it before that this year. So yeah, so I'm starting off 2020 with a bang.
And where can people keep up with you?
Well, my handle is on IG. It's my name, which is Cornell C. Sewell. That's CORNELLCSEWELL. So that's my IG. People know me on Facebook. I've been on the social media market for a while now. So, but people used to go by my stage name, which was Poetik Soulja. So people know me as that as well. So. Depends on where I'm at or what town in Atlanta, they'll be calling me Nelly. So.
Oh, all right, Nelly. What's coming down? All right, thank you guys so much for watching. For more inclusive urban entertainment, go to www.iconcitynews.com.
In your favorite city, getting big money Saturday, Sunday, even though it's Monday.